Hello everybody, happy Thursday. Hope you're all having a great day. I am here today, like the title of this video says, to talk about a very uncomfortable subject. But it is one that I, unfortunately, through my own set of circumstances, have become very passionate about. And that is the subject of infidelity. So I don't know if you guys saw my post from earlier this week asking the question and really wanting to know from you all, what is your definition of infidelity? So, hi Tracy, thanks for joining. And what I found interesting in going through people's responses were, hi Holly, everybody really has a lot of their own definition, right? One of the people even said, gee, it was even for me if they make a big purchase without telling me or spending, money. And the response from somebody else was like, wow, I'd never even thought about this way. I only thought infidelity was sleeping with somebody else. And, it got me to thinking like, gee, there really are so many different definitions, many definitions of infidelity as there really is for everybody that's out there. And so that really makes it hard to try and nail down, like, what is the definition of infidelity? Like, where is the line in the sand, right? And because it's so vast, that line can be very much blurred. And I think a lot of the times this is why we end up having issues in marriages where people feel like, yeah, I feel betrayed by you right now. Or I feel like that's cheating on me. Hi, Cindy. Thanks for joining. These are things where, and to somebody else, they may say, wow, I never thought about it that way, right? And unfortunately, once that line is crossed, right, and whatever the line is in your mind is crossed, it's really hard to come back from that. And it's hard, and it takes a lot of work and healing to be able to come back from that. And so I actually, from my friend Doug, got a really great response that I think really sort of incorporates sort of as a whole what the definition of infidelity really does mean. But here's the thing. That definition has a requirement first before you can implement it. And so I'm going to tell you the definition first. And then first I'm going to tell you about all of the ways that people feel like infidelity is defined. And then I'm going to say, when you look at that, that's kind of an exhausting list, right? And it's like, wow, that seems like a lot of pressure in some ways to have to adhere to these things. And where is that line? So we're going to talk about what things are kind of incorporated in this infidelity that people can kind of call out as definite things. We're going to talk about maybe on the peripheral, what a really good sort of structure in terms of holding the definition of infidelity would be. But what that requirement is before you can actually implement that structure, okay? So first, let's talk about what infidelity can include. And some are a definite and some are a maybe, okay? First and foremost, having sexual relations with somebody else other than your spouse or your partner. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Unless you have an open relationship and that's something that the two of you have agreed upon. But for the majority of people, typically not something that's kosher. Okay? Hiding the fact that you're married to somebody else. Okay? Like, you should be proud of the fact that you're married and you have a wife or a husband. Like, this is, common sense. Hiding the fact that you're married. Of course, if your spouse finds out about that, they're going to be like, why do you want people to think that we're not married? Why do you want people to think that you're single, right? It insinuates that there's something else going on there. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Becky. Giving your loyalty to somebody else. Okay, so where does your loyalty lie? Does it lie with, your mom or your sister if you're a husband? Does it lie with your dad or your brother or somebody else? Right? Where does your loyalty lie? Because in marriages, our loyalty first and foremost should be to our spouses, right? And that's what God teaches us. Obviously to God first and then to our spouses. And some of these other things start to get a little bit gray. Hi Beverly, thanks for joining. Porn, erotica, Romance novels. This one was the one that surprised me, guys. Hi, Charlie. Like, I don't know how many other fans. Okay, so drop me one in the comments if you've read any of the Gray books. Oh my God, now I totally can't remember the name of them, right? Mr. Gray. Crap, what's the name of them? Can somebody remind me what the name of those books are? Where's my best friend, Melissa? She knows. Anyway, I read all those freaking books. Like, I never in a million years would think that that could be a form of infidelity. I just thought I'm reading a cool romance novel, and this is awesome, and, you know, maybe this is TMI, maybe there's something to inspire, you know, me in the bedroom at some point. Who knew, right? But that is what some people define as a form of infidelity. 50 Shades of Grey. Thank you, Becky. Good Lord, I can't believe I forgot that. Yes. So reading something like that, right? Or Danielle Steele, that's another big romance novel person, right? Checking other people out, right? Hi, Sophia. Thanks for joining, right? Checking other people out. Some people take that as a sign of infidelity. Threatening divorce. Like, okay, this is one for me, hard to admit. I've been the one to be like, well, maybe we shouldn't be married anymore, especially when you're really pissed off, right? Hi, Michelle. Keeping secrets from your spouse. That's a huge one, right? And like Kristen, she came on to the post earlier this week and talked about secrets. And hers was, you know, her husband making a big purchase without telling her. Now, I guess if the purchase was buying her something really fancy and a present, probably would be a different story. But, you know, hiding something like that, keeping secrets. Refusing to admit fault or apologizing for when you're wrong. And not showing up when your spouse needs you. I have a client that has gone through this herself, where her partner was like literally just completely checked out on her emotionally when she was going through a series of losses in her life. And she felt very betrayed by that. So that is for her a form of infidelity. You know, trying to win an argument with your spouse. Again, really like, wow, giving up on each other. And then, of course, there is the sexual affair like we talked about, but then there's also emotional affairs. And that emotional affairs can really be, hi Michelle, hi Renee, those can really be a gray area. And some people think that emotional affairs are, you know, really kind of getting into the nitty gritty of I love yous and I'm leaving my wife for you, you're amazing, da-da. Some people say emotional affairs are just like having that friendship with a woman or a man outside of your relationship, whether it's like you think it's your best friend and you're sharing more with that person than you are with your spouse, right? That's a form of betrayal and infidelity. So next, I want to tell you what it is that kind of is the container in which you can define infidelity and how you can use this in your own relationship to really clearly define what that is for the both of you. And Doug said it the best, and it's doing anything that your spouse shouldn't know about or that you're going to hide from them. So do you have a friendship with somebody at work that if they knew what you said to each other or knew how often you talked or what you shared, they would be upset? If your spouse knew that you made this purchase of something big, they would be upset. If they knew you hugged that person just a little too long or kissed them too hard on the cheek, would they be upset? That, my friends, is where your litmus test is. But here's the thing. The requirement that goes along with this container is you need to have a discussion with your spouse. A lot of people walk into their relationships just assuming that infidelity won't happen. And why bring it up, right? It's a painful, awful thing. It's kind of like having a prenup. Who wants to have a prenup? We don't want to think about the fact that we could get divorced, and we don't want to think about the fact that our spouse may cheat on us. But here's the thing. When we create the container and we create what goes in the container, we allow ourselves to have agreements within our marriage rather than expectations. Because for some, like I said, reading a romance, like a erotic romance novel, for some people, that upsets them. For others, it's perfectly fine. Myself, I was actually quite shocked when I read that. I thought, well, gee, I never thought about that as infidelity. And honestly, I never even asked to see if that would be something that would make him uncomfortable. I just read it because I thought it was going to be a good book and it was recommended to me. But it's having those hard conversations. It's saying to your partner, look, these are the things that I would like for you to avoid doing. These are the things that will make me uncomfortable. And then you can put those things into the container of what you guys consider infidelity. And then your spouse will then know, look, this is the thing that's going to make my wife or my husband uncomfortable. And then they then get to make the choice of whether or not they continue to do that thing. And that's where you have to let go and trust, right? Because, it's easy to say, well, yes, if you sleep with somebody, I'm going to be upset. And like I said, unless you have an open marriage. Or if you tell somebody else I love you in a way that is romantic, I'm going to be upset. These are really clearly defined and easily shown that are going to be issues. But there are so many other gray areas that people see, like Kristen said about spending the money, right? That could be an issue for you and that you want to try and avoid. And the way to do that is to say the litmus test is, will this make my spouse upset with me? Will it make them uncomfortable? Do I feel like in order to do this, I need to hide it from my spouse? Hi, Kara. If that's the case, hi, Michelle. If that's the case, then you can choose to do it, but then know that that's cheating on your spouse, and that is not being faithful in your marriage or in your relationship. So what I encourage you guys today is to think about what is in your container of infidelity. What is it that you feel like really is the things that would make you upset, to make you feel distrustful of your spouse, to make you feel like they betrayed you? And then go have the hard conversation. Even though it sucks to bring up stuff that doesn't happen or hasn't happened, and they may even be like, why are you asking me this right now? What do you think I'm doing that I'm not doing, right? And you just have to say, hey, look, I watched this video today from this really awesome chick who is talking about infidelity. And she talked about the fact that, we really haven't had this conversation. We really haven't talked about what we consider cheating. And it may open up a dialogue for the two of you to get to a better place of understanding. And who knows, it might actually even strengthen your relationship. I hope that this has been helpful for you. Thank you guys so much for joining. I would love to hear from you guys. If you are live, definitely say hello. And if you watch me on the replay, let me know so I can come back and love on you. If you have any questions or you need any support, feel free to reach out to me. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.